Hello and welcome to the Sherlock Reel. I really have to get that intro sorted out and fixed properly. But my name is Carl Sherlock. Today we are here and we are going to be talking about video game movies. Try and find the best video game movie. There's not an awful lot of great ones. We're kind of trying to find out the worst of all, or the least worst of all these films. But let's see how we'll get on there today. We're going to start off introducing everybody. Rob, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Robert Sherlock, big movie fan, big gamer. This should be a bit of crack. Go ahead.
Next up, whoever wants to go ahead.
I'm Ted. I'm the host of Retrotainment, which is a podcast that looks back at films, games, and stuff from the past. And I was on here for a previous episode that was really, really good. So I just said I'd come back.
Perfect. And I'm Matthew. I'm from True Metal Pod or True Metal Podcast, which is basically a podcast channel. And we are currently working on a second series, our second season, I should say, of Monsters of Rock, the Lordi story, which basically looks at the history of Lordi, a Finnish heavy metal band, and their pretty much 30-year career.
So we're going to start off there today with probably a film a lot of you know. I don't know if everyone has watched it or not. And then a film that is almost it's going to be starting off with this one here. It's the Angry Birds movie 2 and Double Dragon. Versus Double Dragon.
Bit of a mixed bag there.
It's not pretty polar opposites of films. You know, we have
Angry Birds movie 2.
Sorry?
I can imagine Angry Birds movie 2 is as bad as the first one. Double Dragon.
Well, you'll be completely surprised here. On Rotten Tomatoes, the Angry Birds movie 2 is the highest rated video game movie ever.
Really?
Period. It has 90.
Okay.
It's 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
That's no word of a lie.
I can only imagine what Double Dragon is.
We have Robert Patrick in there.
Robert Patrick
in there playing a character called Kogo Shuka.
Yeah.
It is indeed Robert Patrick Martikaskas.
It's absolutely terrible. The storyline is terrible. That's so camp. The fight scenes aren't too bad. Special effects are woeful. Dacascos is brilliant anyway. He's great martial arts. It's always great watching him. But I don't know what I'd vote for that one. I'd probably go with.
I can't put Double Dragon through, so it's Angry Birds for me.
I'd go with Angry Birds.
Sit down and watch that before I watch the other one.
Yeah, I've never seen Angry Birds.
I forgot I'm not voting. So sorry, lads. It's the three of you.
I've never seen Angry Birds 2, and I've never seen Angry Birds 1. But I have seen Double Dragon, and it's dirt. So based on that, I can only assume that Angry Birds has to be better because it at least got 2 films out of it. So I'll give my vote there.
Angry Birds. Perfect. So Matthew, even whichever one you voted, Angry Birds is going through.
Yeah, well, I'd have to kind
voted.
of go with Angry Birds anyway because the kids seem to like it. So that's kind of, once they can sit down and quiet for a couple of minutes, then that's all I have to be honest. So what if that's kept them entertained? I have seen bits of Double Dragon here and there, but I think when you kind of look at video game movies, Angry Birds doesn't have a storyline in the game anyway. So it's kind of got a bit of a free pass. It doesn't really have to focus on a storyline, whereas Double Dragon kind of still has a bit of a story element entwined into the game. So Angry Birds gets it, but it's got a bit of an easy kind of direction for the filmmakers because they can do whatever they want with it. All those birds versus pigs. There you go. You can make what you wish of that.
True. We would let's see that how much further it'll get through in this tournament. But next up, we will have two films. A lot of people will know, but they're not very good. We have, if it'll load up here, we have Super Mario Bros. Versus Need for Speed. Super Mario Bros. Is one that is just a bad movie.
Yeah, neither of these are particularly good, but Super Mario Bros. Is like so bad that it gets good for being that bad. So I'll give my vote to that because Need for Speed wasn't good either.
That kind of killed your man's career after Breaking Bad.
I'd agree with Matthew. For the cast that Mario Brothers had, like Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper, Samantha Mathis, it was a good cast. It's not the worst. I haven't seen Need for Speed, to be honest. I know it's Aaron Paul, but I liked Mario Brothers. It's a good kids family movie. I really enjoyed it, so I'd give my vote to Mario.
Yeah, I'd have to kind of second what Rob said there. Mario, it's a grand movie, but it plays into the fact that it's kind of crap anyway. Whereas Need for Speed takes itself a little bit too serious, and it's the height of Aaron Paul's fame.
I don't think it needed it, though. I don't think it's
career choice for him. So I would go for Mario Bros.
Mario Bros. Goes through, and I just have to make it that way. I think it was meant to be serious and good, but it didn't end up that way.
No.
Hey.
I think as Carl.
Are you gone, Carl?
Carl frozen.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know. I did like Mario Bros. Like it is bad, but I think it's got that level of being, so bad that it becomes good. Like you watch it knowing it's going to be bad, so you're like, hey, everybody, come watch this. Look how shit this is.
Yeah,
and everyone's
exactly.
kind of like, it's pretty good for how shit it is. Whereas I think like Need for Speed is bad, but it's not bad enough to be that level. Like I'm sure there's people out there who actually enjoyed Need for Speed. I can't imagine there was a whole lot of people who are like, yeah, Super Mario Bros. Is one of the best films ever.
Yeah, and the thing is, Need for Speed is trying to play into that Fast and Furious market as well.
Yeah, and it
failed. Like it was never going to live up to the same quality or standard as those movies.
No.
So yeah, definitely Super Mario Bros. Takes it. It's terrible. It's crap, but it's it's the best of these two pieces of crap anyway.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thanks for vamping there, lads. I appreciate it. Next up, we have the Angry Birds movie against Street Fighter.
Jeez.
94 Street Fighter.
I would still have to go here for Angry Birds playing it. Same thing as I said before. The first one is way better than the second film, of course. And it's decent enough. It's got a few funny moments here and there for parents and for kids. So it's a better family movie. Street Fighter is just, it's a waste of your time. I think who's your man? Jean-Claude Van Damme's in that, isn't he?
You have Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, no.
Ming-Na Wen.
So yeah, I vote for Angry Birds there. Yeah.
I wish Street Fighter was better because as a game, Street Fighter is deadly. Like it's so good. But this film is just, it's just so bad. It's around that early 90s time where they were trying to adapt video games into films, and just it was like was like they were bullied into doing it by the people who liked video games, but weren't willing to actually invest in it to make a good film, and therefore they were all shit. So yeah, like I haven't seen Angry Birds, but like it can't be worse. Can't be.
Well, I'm going to give mine to Street Fighter.
That's a vote for Angry Birds.
Yeah. Street Fighter, it's awful, but it's good fun. You know, Van Damme, sure, any excuse for him.
I will agree, it is good fun.
You know, Kylie hadn't really done much at that stage, and it was good to see her in something. Like it was all right. You know, it was terrible, but it was, you know, it's better than some, as Matthew said, there's some movie that they just kind of made up because it was a good little game on your phone. So I'd give mine to Street Fighter for that one. Can't let Angry Birds get a
clean sweep.
Yeah.
Next up, we have one here that I think might actually be the first one that people have to think about. We have Prince of Persia up against Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Prince of Persia, who
I saw Mewtwo
woefully
Strikes
miscast.
Back.
We have to say that. Absolutely woefully miscast.
What? I saw
Prince of
Mewtwo
Persia
Strikes
woefully
Back.
miscast. Shouldn't have been cast by him. But you know, Mewtwo Strikes Back. It's a good fun. I haven't watched it in probably 20 years, but hell, never.
I'm definitely going for Mewtwo Strikes Back anyway. Definitely.
Well, I just watched Prince of Persia an hour ago, and it's great. Really enjoyed it. What's the band's name? He stars in it.
Jake Gyllenhaal, isn't it?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
You know, he might have been miscast, but it was a good movie. I really enjoyed it for what it was. You know, we had all the moves, all the jumps, all the climbing, and everything else that he did in the game. You know, whatever about the story, the effects were pretty good when he's used the knife. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Prince of Persia gets my vote. Mewtwo, I saw 5 times in the cinema. I would rather slit my throat and watch it again.
And surely if you went to see it 5 times, you must like it. Surely if you went to see it 5 times, you must really have enjoyed it. No, Rob?
No, I had 2 little, very small kids. I wanted to see it 5 times. Birthdays.
So Matthew, it's down to you.
Well, it's kind of a tough one actually.
You get to decide.
Pokemon, I haven't seen that since I was like 11 or 12. I loved the film. Huge Pokemon fan back then, and I even read the novel of that.
Yeah. Same.
So I don't know. Just tough. Prince of Persia, I really like the game series, and it's been really good. But I think the film was kind of a bit too much of a letdown, seeing as it had such a good premise to kind of work off from the game series. So I'd have to give it to Pokemon.
Yes.
Pokemon goes true. Pokemon goes
So you'll
true.
see that at least twice this time, Rob.
Right.
Shame.
Next up, we have actually not a bad film. It's Tomb Raider from 2018 against Tekken.
Is this the 2018 Tomb Raider, is it?
2018 Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I'd give that my vote. I actually think that was a very good film. Yeah, I think that was really good. Tekken wasn't particularly good.
For me, anyway, there are 2 movies I have not actually seen. I know I've seen obviously the original Tomb Raiders. The Tekken one, that's a pretty recent film, isn't it?
2009 or 2010.
I think it's actually about 2012 at this stage.
2012, yeah. I remember wanting to see that, so I have nothing to work off here pretty much. I've played more Tekken games than I have Tomb Raider, so I could give it based on that. But I'll go Tekken. Sure, let's go for Tekken.
All right, 2010 Tekken was.
And Rob, you get the deciding vote.
All right, well, 2010 Tekken was, just to clear that. This is the Vadicure one or whatever her name is, yeah? The Tomb Raider.
Alicia Vikander.
Yeah.
Vikander, that's her
Yep.
name, yeah. Definitely give it to her. That was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job with it.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay,
the game, I
Tomb
played the
Raider
game.
goes
around
through
the
to
same
the next
time.
round.
Pretty good.
Perfect. Okay, next up we have. Oh Lord, they are two stinkers. They are definitely two stinkers. It's Silent Hill against Doom.
I wouldn't say they're stinkers. I actually enjoyed both of those movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually love. Doom itself as a game, it's kind of same sort of thing. It's not got much of a story. Dude on Mars killing demons from hell, like that makes no sense anyway. So they kind of made the best of a pretty bad story. Plus you have The Rock in there. You've got Carl Urban. Like it's a pretty good cast to have to work off. And they did the first person shooter thing at the end. So that's what really got that
Only
was what everyone was
redeemable
looking
part.
for.
Only
Silent Hill,
redeemable
though,
part.
it's not that bad of a movie, really. It kind of still plays off the kind of obscure horror themes that a lot of the games focus on. You kind of have to. The story doesn't really make much sense, but that's kind of along the veins of most Silent Hill games. Anyway, you kind of have to make sense of it yourself. So I don't really think it's that bad. And it is like it's got a couple of spooky moments, not many jump scares or anything like that. But I think it might have been 14 or 15 when that movie came out, I think. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good. But because of all the things that the Doom film did well, I'd have to give it to that.
Yeah, I think you've sold me on Doom for this one. Like I'm kind of the same as you. I don't think either of them are as bad as some of the other stuff in here. I think some of the other stuff is way worse. Like these aren't top of the list either by any stretch, but like they're both decent, fun films to watch. But yeah, I think Doom would take it. The Rock being in it's early Rock, so it's not as great as stuff, but still that would have sold me. I think that's actually what sold me on going to see the film. Even though I did like Doom as a game, I think what sold me was the fact that The Rock was in it more than anything. So
Doom gets my vote.
Martin saying their Doom game original is the best game.
Yeah, definitely is.
Yeah,
I'd say Doom is in gaming wise. Doom would be better than Silent Hill.
Yeah. That's more fun. It's less
itself.
taxing on you anyway.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely less taxing on your head.
Right, so that's Doom going through to the next round. Next up, speaking of The Rock, we have another Rock show. I actually didn't realize that he was in 2 video game movies.
Oh.
But this is Rampage versus Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Yeah. No, Rampage was completely taken in a different direction as well. Absolutely nothing like the game itself. It was just a Rock action fest. And then Mortal Kombat Annihilation says something when it's worse than Mortal Kombat. So
yeah, I think that's the real kicking point. I think that's the real kicking point here. Mortal Kombat Annihilation it's just awful. For like Mortal Kombat as a game is one of the best games I've ever played, but like that film is just terrible, and it's worse than the first one, which wasn't particularly good anyway. I didn't even know Rampage was a game when I went to see the film. I thought the film was fine. Like it's enjoyable. It's a real switch your brain off and just watch loads of action films. So I'll give that my vote there. At least it was in some way enjoyable.
Yeah, well, Mortal Kombat, I found them all terrible, to be honest.
Yes.
So I quite enjoyed Rampage. I remember playing it, especially when I started seeing all the creatures destroying the buildings and what they did, flying and everything else. It's good crack. I remember the game. It was not the best game. Kids love playing it, but Mortal Kombat is just dire. Brilliant game, as you said. Great, certainly great fighting game, but awful films, the series, and everything that came to do it. Although I am looking forward to the new one. That looks pretty freaking good.
Oh, the new one looks fantastic.
If you haven't seen the trailer, check
the new one looks brilliant.
Come back to me next year and have that Mortal Kombat in here, and I think it'll kick the ass of Rampage. But for the moment, I think Rampage takes it here.
But Rampage definitely wins for me.
And as Steph Matthews guest on the show last week while discussing rom-coms, I was going to say something about Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but then I remembered that if you can't say something nice, say nothing at all. That's all you can say about that film, really. Does it all up,
I know Mortal Kombat is kind of kicked to the side here, but I'm going to finish it off. It's a terrible movie. It's the worst of those two, and of course, Rampage is actually a decent enough film. Yeah. I never knew it was a game beforehand. I went in, and a film where The Rock befriends a giant gorilla and kicks the ass of lots of other giant animals. You can't really go wrong there. Like that's the premise. Like
switch your brain off and just enjoy this action. Yeah, deadly. Yeah.
Perfect. So that's Rampage through to the next round. Next up, we have two completely different films, but it's another fighting game. Going up against, so it's DOA, Dead or Alive, against Assassin's Creed.
Two stinkers. For me here now, Assassin's Creed is my favorite game franchise. I absolutely love every single game that's in that, bar Odyssey. And I was looking forward to this film so much. I thought Michael Fassbender being cast as the protagonist, I can't remember his character's name now in it, but I thought it was going to be an excellent movie. I was really hyped for it, but it was such a letdown. They focused far too much on the modern day stuff in it, not enough historically based elements in the movie, which is what the games are based on pretty much. And yeah, Dead or Alive is just stupid, nonsensical, just pretty much scantily clad women fighting each other. And Assassin's Creed let me down that much. I'll have to go for Dead or Alive. So,
yeah,
Dead or Alive.
Like neither of these films really have a particularly good track record behind them. Assassin's Creed was a game that
They're not winning Oscars either, these films.
No.
They won't win this tournament either. No, Assassin's Creed was a game that I wanted to get into, and I played the first one, and I played a couple of hours into it, and the game kept telling me not to kill people, which I didn't like. Because I was like, I thought I was assassin, not a spy. And then I didn't play any other game after that, which I've been told is a big letdown because they get really good after that. But I just couldn't bring myself to play another game where I was an assassin, not allowed to kill anyone. So I didn't have big hype going into this film because I kind of just thought it was shit anyway. So I went in and watched it, and I was like, it's all right. But again, it was kind of similar to the first part of the first game. It just wasn't that good. It was just too slow. It didn't really work out that well. So I don't really care which goes through. So Dead or Alive, I suppose. Just because Assassin's Creed has such a big fan base, and then it was terrible. Yeah, just Assassin's Creed has a huge fan base.
Game.
Yeah, I think its film being so bad, it deserves to be punished and go out in the first round because the actual game franchise is meant to be very good. So just punish them for that and kick them out here.
Well,
I'm actually quite surprised with that.
I thought they were both a bit of crack. I thought Assassin's Creed wasn't the worst. I agree with you, it's not great now if you're comparing it to the game. But the film itself wasn't the worst. But DOA was just so much fun. from the first fight scene with Joanne throwing her bra up in the air and kicking everybody's ass before she catches it, it's on her. That was brilliant. It was just great crack. My vote goes to the DOA goes through. It was so much fun. Really enjoyed it. For
DOA
for a fighting game.
through to the next round. Perfect. Next up, we have probably one of the favorites for the tournament, I would say, in it. We have Pokemon Detective Pikachu up against Wing Commander, starring Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard, if you don't know the movie.
Yeah, when you've got a movie with Shaggy and Fred from Scooby-Doo in it, you're not doing well. You're not doing well.
Unless, of course, it is Scooby-Doo. If it's Scooby-Doo, then you're golden.
So, it has to be Pokemon Detective Pikachu. And, of course, Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu. That's the best thing about that movie.
Ryan Reynolds is brilliant in that, yeah.
Exactly. So I would definitely vote for Pokemon here. Wing Commander, who would want to make a movie of that game anyway? Like, I don't understand the market for that.
It didn't do it.
It sounds like a decent enough story. You know, the aliens are attacking, and they it's humans fighting aliens.
Yeah, that's the problem. It is a decent enough story. It's just a really shit film.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I just watched the trailer was bad enough.
Yeah, like you get a good story, like, oh, here, aliens versus humans. Even if you don't stick to the video game script, you can still make something good out of that.
Yeah.
But this is like being given chicken salad and making chicken shit out of it. Like, it's meant to be the opposite way. You're meant to be given chicken shit and make chicken salad. So, yeah, I'd definitely put it out in the first round. Detective Pikachu goes through here.
It's an awful shame because it's such a good cast. David Warner is one of my favorites. He's brilliant.
That's what makes it even worse. They had a good cast.
Yeah,
like you get a good cast, you have a good premise for a storyline, and you still manage to fuck it up. Like,
but definitely Pikachu is absolutely amazing. It's one of the best adapts I've seen. I think that there's so many funny bits. You know, it's Ryan Reynolds. You can't beat him anyway. You know, it's a little yellow Deadpool.
Yeah.
You know, but it's great fun, especially with Mr. Mime. It's probably one of the funniest scenes I've seen in 19 years.
Yeah, that is very good.
Well, yeah, that's hilarious. Next up, we have a double Angelina Jolie fest. Oh. It's Lara Croft Tomb Raider versus Lara Croft in the Cradle of Life.
This one's easy. The first Tomb Raider was better than the second one.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, I'd have the same thing. The first one was interesting. I looked forward to going and seeing it, and yeah, it did what it was set out to do. The second one just went way too far, went totally obscure towards the end. So definitely the first one there for me.
Yeah,
perfect. Okay, that was a quick and easy one. That was pretty obvious, I think.
Bandage that.
Next up, of Final Fantasy, which is headache-inducing, against Hitman Agent 47. So that's the second Hitman film that came out, the one that didn't star Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah. Right. Both not great.
Yeah, both aren't good. Both aren't good.
I think Final Fantasy is I think that's probably a better game overall, so I'll just say Final Fantasy based on that. But I don't really have an opinion on either of these films.
I liked Hitman 48 and 47. It wasn't bad. The action was pretty good. Didn't like the man in it. I much preferred Timothy Olyphant. I was just kind of used to him with that, and then suddenly this new guy. The film itself was okay. Bit of action. Final Fantasy, I didn't enjoy it at all. I vaguely remember seeing it. I thought even the voices that they had for the characters just didn't suit. It was awful. Yeah, I didn't like it.
Oh, it was awful, yeah.
My vote goes to Hitman.
I'm going to be the odd one out here, but I'm going to say Final Fantasy. I know it's done for. It's not going through, but
Oh, yeah, it is because I gave
sorry,
mine
yeah,
Final
Ted, you
Fantasy.
go first.
Yeah, I just said.
Yeah, I actually liked the Final Fantasy movie. I remember getting a DVD for Christmas one year, and not having a clue what it was. I'd only played like Final Fantasy 7 or something like that, whatever it was, on the PS1 before, and I was trying to understand this movie, what was going on, and never understood it towards the end. But it kept me intrigued. And like had Steve Buscemi in it doing one of the voice cast members as well, as far as I remember.
That's the actual voice that really pissed me off. It just didn't suit his character. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But no, definitely Agent 47. I didn't really enjoy. I preferred the first one, so I'd have to vote Final Fantasy here.
I think that's the biggest letdown on Hitman is the change in actor. I think that really is what, like, if they'd kept the same actor for that and then done that film, it probably would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
True. As Martin says here, Hitman Agent 47 though is a very poor follow-up to the first Hitman film. Which
I took it as a reboot.
I would agree there.
Again.
Yeah,
I took it as a reboot.
I think it was that, and there's another one that failed.
Yeah.
But the only thing I have to say, because Final Fantasy is going out there now, I only saw the film once, and it was when I was in the cinema, and I just remember, I think it was the old 3D glasses that I saw the film with, and headache-inducing, that film.
Wait,
Final
Fantasy's the one. Final Fantasy's the one going through. No.
Yeah, Final Fantasy's going through.
Yeah.
He's gone again.
He's gone again, is he?
He's gone
Yeah,
again.
he's gone again.
He really doesn't want Final Fantasy to go through. Really hates it.
Oh my god.
Take the hint, lads. Take the hint. Take the vote.
I think I'm back.
Yeah,
no,
you're
I
back.
know we're going to last too long anyway.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy was the one to go through there, Carl. I gave it my vote based on the game rather than the film, but I think it managed to go through. Yeah.
Perfect. Yep, that's fine. That's grand. And next up is, actually, I don't have the thing going across. It's Resident Evil: The Final Chapter against Hitman.
I'd have to say the first Hitman movie here.
So the last Resident Evil film that came out.
Each Resident Evil film got worse
with the worst.
Which each one that came along. The first one is probably the best of the lot.
Oh, there was way too many of them.
Yeah, way too many. I don't know how they kept going with them, to be quite honest. That's and the stories were never that intriguing.
Well, that's
there was never
real
that
simple.
much
The director. It's real simple. The director is married to Mila Jovovich. That's why.
Who's giving them the money to make these movies? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Matthew. I think the Resident Evil films were pretty poor. Then they did only get worse. This one's probably better than some of the other ones, but I think the first Hitman film still beats it out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'd go for Hitman. I haven't seen it, actually. That's the only Resident Evil one I haven't seen yet. Is the last one, but
yeah, it's
better than a lot of them.
It's not a shame to miss it, to be honest. You're not missing a whole lot.
I'll watch it just to see how it ends.
Yeah,
but I enjoyed them. They're a bit of crack. I thought the second one actually was the best.
They're fine, but they're just nothing special, sort of thing. Like, they're fine if you have them on, but if you're asked to pick a film to put on, I don't think anyone's going to be like, "Oh, Resident Evil, lads, that's the film that we should put on." Yeah. You're just kind of there's probably something better.
Okay.
There's definitely something better. If you don't have a better film on your bookshelf there for DVDs, you need to buy more different. You need to buy different DVDs, because if that's your best film, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, they did Hitman very well. They have him walking right, and the camera angle right behind him, and his whole stance and everything. They did it all very well. I really enjoyed the first Hitman. And of course, I have Olga Kurylenko as well, which makes any movie better. Yeah.
And the story is pretty strong in it as well. It's probably one of the better stories of the video game movie adaptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we have another favorite, I think, for the tournament is Sonic the Hedgehog against Street Fighter Alpha, which was the animated.
Yeah, the animated Street Fighter, where
I think it's a quite simple one, really.
like the animated Street Fighter one should have been even easier to make a good film out of, because you're literally just using animation, which is basically you're just playing the game then, and you still manage to make a shit film. I don't understand. Like, of course it's going to go out in the first round. Sonic, if it was coming up against something shit, like maybe it might nudge itself through, but not against Sonic the Hedgehog. This is a race, and he's already past the finish line.
Yeah, well, like Street Fighter Alpha, it wasn't bad. I quite enjoyed it. I think I watched it twice. It was okay. The fight scenes are great. Storyline wasn't particularly brilliant, so I totally agree with you there. But Sonic has to win. Sonic is definitely up there as being one of the best, I think.
Yeah, Street Fighter Alpha is one I have not seen. I've seen Sonic the Hedgehog. It wasn't too bad. As much as I can't stand Jim Carrey that much. But I'd have based on the fact I've seen it, I'd have to go for it. I can't really judge Street Fighter Alpha.
Yeah, you're making the right choice.
I'd say that
both.
Yeah,
I would say that's one of Jim Carrey's strongest performances in the last decade, to be honest.
That shows where his career is.
Scary, but
I didn't find him too annoying. I thought he was okay. Yeah,
I thought he was good in this. Like, I thought he did well in this.
He didn't go too over the top.
Sonic for the win.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sonic goes through to the next round, and next up we have another Mortal Kombat film. So it's the original Mortal Kombat up against Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. I think this was released in 2014 or something. It was Christian Kirk took up the mantle of Chun-Li.
Yeah.
I haven't seen The Legend of Chun-Li. But yeah, the first Mortal Kombat film isn't great, but it's okay. So I'll give it to that.
Yeah,
I go with Mortal Kombat as well. Chun-Li was terrible, and Kristen Kirk, for God's sake, Lana Lang herself, she couldn't fight. It was definitely Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same thing. Mortal Kombat kind of does.
Perfect.
It's quite good in its adaptation of the actual fighters themselves. It's quite decent enough. The probably one that probably doesn't work the best is Raiden. But the rest of the characters, it's pretty all right. But Street Fighter Legend Chun-Li is one I have not seen. I don't know why you'd optionally choose to watch the film unless you're forced to, based on the fact that all the other ones were so bad.
Yeah.
But definitely Mortal Kombat here for me.
Mortal Kombat through to the next round, and we'll save the shouting until it actually leaves and gets eliminated. You have to shout for Mortal Kombat when it does. But next up we have Resident Evil, the original one, versus Max Payne. Oh, stinker. Max Payne was bad.
You know what? I really enjoyed Max Payne. It gets an awful, the people knock it all the time, but I thought Max Payne was pretty fucking good. I didn't really understand what was going on there for a lot of the devilly angel stuff that was happening in it. I'd have to watch it again because I don't really remember a lot of it, but I remember really enjoying it. And as I said, Olga Kurylenko always makes a movie for me. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Resident Evil though is probably the best of its ilk. So my vote would go for Resident Evil. But Max Payne is a good movie. I hate to hear it being knocked all the time.
My thing with Max Payne is I don't know, like it felt like it tried to kind of copy Sin City in a bit. I don't really know why it tried to go that route. That's the feeling I always got off it. It's not awful, but the first Resident Evil is better than it, I think. So
yeah, for me anyway, I'd have to go Resident Evil. based on the fact that it's the best one in the franchise. It's a decent enough movie. It does a lot with the actual game itself. Like, it ties in a lot of the intrigue around the Umbrella Corporation, and then you have Nemesis in it, the big zombie dude at the end of that movie, I believe he is. It's a decent enough movie. I'd never, as you said, Carl, I wouldn't optionally put it on if I had it. I think I actually do have it on DVD. I might have watched it the day I got it, and that was it. But Max Payne, I never really liked the games themselves.
You have something to watch tonight, though.
Yeah. Max Payne was never a game where I really got into, and when I went to see the film, it never really brought me in. It didn't hold my attention too well, so I'd definitely go for Resident Evil.
Resident Evil goes through to the next round. And we have the final matchup here in the first round here. And it is Warcraft up against Ratchet and Clank.
They're not too bad. Two films that aren't too bad.
Yeah, they're actually
Warcraft
ones,
is quite good. Based on, and obviously I can't remember any of the characters' names in this, but I know Travis Fimmel, your man who plays Ragnar Lothbrok in Vikings, he is the lead actor in that. It's an all right movie. It's not that bad. Ratchet and Clank, it's a kids' film. They brought out a game. They remade the first game to pretty much coincide with the release of the movie. And pretty much the game is the movie here. So they kind of cheated themselves in that way. But I enjoyed Warcraft more. And the characters, the CGI, it's all done really well. It's of exceptional standard. It's a pity that Travis Fimmel doesn't really do too much these days, that we don't see him in a lot of things, because he's quite good in that as well. So I'd vote Warcraft here.
I'd have to agree with Matthew. I think I haven't seen Ratchet and Clank. I have no intention of seeing Ratchet and Clank. But Warcraft, I really enjoyed. It's a pity that it flopped. But it was really good. It looked really right. What a cast, like Dominic Cooper and Tony Kettle and Robert Krasinski, Paula Patton. So it was a great cast, and it directed by what's his name, David Bowie's son, Doug Jones. Really good movie. I really enjoyed it. It was a pity it was I think it was the hype that they were trying to give it. They didn't give it any. That was the problem with Warcraft. I'd say it probably did great in the likes of Japan and China. But I really enjoyed it. So yeah, Warcraft for me.
Yeah, no, I'd be the same. Warcraft.
Yeah, I hope that
overall.
hype doesn't.
Well,
I hope the hype isn't the same thing for the. I hope the hype isn't the same thing for the upcoming Dungeons and Dragons film. It's due to be coming out. They're getting all the ready for that at the moment, and I fear it's going to be the same thing. That it's just so much hype onto it, and it's just not going to live up to expectations. Hopefully not, though.
Should we wait and see?
Yeah, no, Warcraft is
so
good.
Warcraft through to the round. So round 1 is finished. So we're moving into round 2, and we're going to be kicking it off with the Angry Bird movie 2 against Super Mario Brothers. Which one will fail?
I'm going to give mine
Angry
to
Birds
Super Mario.
Through and Super Mario.
I'm going to put Super Mario through. Just like, it's so bad, it's good to me. That's what sells me on it. I've never seen Angry Birds 1 or 2, so.
Yeah, I'd have to go. I'm going Super Mario Bros. Because I don't want to have to debate over Angry Bird the movie 1 versus Angry Birds the movie 2. So I'm going to vote Super Mario Bros.
Oh yes.
I go with Mario Bros as well. Yeah, definitely.
Mario through to the next round. Okay, that was a quick and easy one. And Matthew, I think that may backfire on here because I don't know. I don't know if Angry Birds will go through. I don't know because it's up here against Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Hopefully Rob will stick with me here. Maybe he'll vote against Pokemon again.
I'll vote Pokemon anyway. The scene with when Ash turns to stone, and then like Pikachu's trying to shock him back into life, and then obviously they like spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen this film from what like '98.
Yeah.
Fuck you if you haven't seen it, but all the Pokemon essentially cry, and then that revives Ash. I was a kid when I saw this, so obviously I just have like I haven't watched it recently, but I still have that nostalgic feeling to it. As a big Pokemon fan when I was a kid, still quite enjoy like the Pokemon to an extent. I don't really follow it anymore, but when Pokemon Go came out, I was like, yeah, I'll definitely get on that. So it still has some sort of pull to me. So I'm going to go with that. I think that was a really good Pokemon film, to be fair.
Yeah,
So, Rob, you have the deciding vote.
All right. Well, look, I can't give it to the movie that I haven't seen. I remember seeing the trailer for Angry Birds and gone, I'll never watch that. So Pokemon will have to get it from me. It holds a special place in my heart as well. So,
See, I told you, Rob loves this film. He went to see it 5 times.
You might end up winning it after all.
Yeah, Rob has a big love for this film.
I was going to vote for. I was going to vote for Angry Birds there, but obviously it's gone now anyway. So it's still a regular movie. At least once every week or 2 weeks, it's watched in this house. But no, it's gone now. So
time to put that film in the bin and buy yourself a Mewtwo Strikes Back and start putting that
on. Next up, might be a difficult one here. Maybe it's Tomb Raider vs. Doom.
This one's relatively simple to me. I think
Which
Doom
Tomb Raider is this?
2018.
2018.
This is 2018 to Victor.
Yeah, so yeah, to me, I actually think the Tomb Raider 2018 was really good. I think it did a lot of good things for video game franchise films. So I'm going to go with that. Doom, I liked Doom, but it's not as good as Tomb Raider.
I have to agree.
Sorry, Rob, go on.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That was a great version of the Tomb Raider. I really enjoyed it. I really like Doom. If it was up against something else, I'd probably put it through. But
yeah, it probably would have got through against something else, but not against this.
No.
Again, I would probably vote for Tomb Raider.
Through to the next round. They're voting against you. Voting against you.
Yeah.
And as Steph there says, she agrees with you there, Matthew. The 2 Angry Birds films were hilarious, which she's very surprised at, and the games she can't stand. Perfect. So next up,
I think the games are actually quite good.
Will
they kill a couple of minutes? Yeah.
The Rock go out again?
No, no, he won't go out again.
Rampage versus DOA, Dead or Alive.
He won't be gone. He won't be gone.
The Rock's not going out here.
It has to be said before, like Rampage. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Rampage is, and it does a lot of great action scenes. Like if you got giant crocodiles and giant wolves fighting a giant white albino gorilla, like that's a Godzilla movie. That's a King Kong movie. So
yeah, and the gorilla's got a sense of humor, like feigning his own death and everything, just so he can flip him off. Yeah, no, I'm all up for Rampage, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, as much as I love DOA, I really like that movie. Rampage wins.
Rampage through the next round. And speaking of Martin's comment there, the best thing about Pokemon is the value of the game cards. Pokemon Detective Pikachu was going up here now against Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
I know which one's the better film.
I think that's a fair one now. I thought if it was me voting, it would be Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, which is probably what will get my vote. Just the Lara Croft Tomb Raider. It essentially launched the career of Angelina Jolie. Like, this is what really put her from kind of a B-list, C-list celebrity to being an A-list celebrity. And I think in terms of when you go back to the time when it was released, it actually was very good. And not a lot of video game films back then were very good. But yeah, over which one's actually a better film, it's definitely Detective Pikachu with Ryan Reynolds.
Well, Ryan Reynolds wins it. You know, it's
Okay,
if he wasn't in it, I wonder how good it would be. You know, I really enjoyed it with him. Like Lara Croft is brilliant for what it was, for the time it was made. You know, Angelina Jolie was perfect for the role and did a very good job on it. But I have to agree with you. I have to give it to Pokemon at this point. It's such a good movie.
Yeah, I'd say it's a clean sweep here. Pokemon Detective Pikachu is the better film. It's not to put a slight on Lara Croft Tomb Raider, which is a decent movie in itself. Lara Croft, and Angelina Jolie is perfectly cast. It does a lot of good things with the game franchise as well. The way it incorporates all of the lore from the actual games into it.
Yeah, it did do very well, to be fair to it.
Exactly, and it kind of plays on that kind of Indiana Jones-esque element that those games are kind of aiming to achieve in that film. So yeah, it's not a tough one to choose between the two, but definitely of all the video game ones that we have, all the movies we have here, Lara Croft is definitely not the worst one at all. So, but still, Detective Pikachu is the better film.
Yeah, sometimes you just come up against a juggernaut and you're not going to get past it. So,
yeah,
that's Pikachu going through the next round and Lara Croft out. Next up, we have, will Final Fantasy take out both Hitman films? It's Final Fantasy versus
It won't.
Hitman.
It won't.
no.
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 Hitman
As we said,
puts
like
bullet in the
Hitman
head.
There's an answer for that one.
Yeah. Hitman's a great movie. Final Fantasy, as I said, it got me interested based on the intrigue, and then once it got to the end, I still didn't understand what was going on at all. And I don't think it's even loosely based on the games either. I think it's that obscure, and you've got ghosts and spirits coming in, and they're kind of coming into the ship through the walls and stuff, and it's kind of like, what's going on here? Whereas Hitman, it is the best probably storyline of all of these films we're talking about, so it definitely gets my vote.
Yeah, it's an easy one. Walks through.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's Hitman through to the next round. And now we have Sonic coming up against Mortal Kombat.
Again, another easy one. I think like one of these is actually a good film. The other is not a good film.
Great games.
Both are great games, but one's a good film, one's not a good film. Sonic, again, races to the finish line.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's no there's no comparison really. Mortal Kombat, like, it's shit. Let's be honest.
Yeah. No, the new one. The new one.
Couple of decent fight scenes, but and like, I love Christopher Lombard. You know what I mean? Lombard, whatever, and he destroys Raiden. I thought it was terrible. So he's probably the most popular character in the game, and it's just awful.
Yeah. No, the Mortal Kombat movie is just, it's such a letdown. Like, as it does good things with the characters, but I don't think it does anything good with the actual game. And it kind of had an easy thing to do, really. It's a game a fighting tournament between people from different planets. And you'd think it'd be able to do something well with it, but it does nothing at all. And especially seeing as the stories in the games, there's not that much in the early games anyway. It's pretty much just lads fighting each other. And like,
yeah, the original games are literally just, this is you start here in the tournament, you need to get to the end of the tournament, and to get there you need to kill your opponent. That's the tournament. That's all the storyline ever needed to be, and they tried to add too much to it. Like, and this is why you don't need to do all that. Just get me to all you need to do is get me to the fight, have a good fight, and move me on to the next fight.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that. So I'm hoping the new one does that, because it looks deadly. But that old Mortal Kombat now, definitely not.
And even the fatality.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
In
that's
that
certainly
movie
shown
as
them
well,
as
be pacified. They're not in any way gory or grotesque, which I'm hoping, obviously, from we're going to get that.
Well, we've seen a man's arms get frozen off and snapped in
as we
half.
said, there
So
might be a
yeah,
bit too much build up here.
yeah, possibly.
Exactly. But no, definitely. But definitely for me, Sonic the Hedgehog gets the vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like Mortal Kombat should be extremely violent.
Perfect.
Looks like the next
Yeah.
one.
I mean, it's a fight to the death. It should be violent.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat is gone. And next we have.
Go.
Go on, do the scream. You know you want to do the scream. Next up, we have Warcraft up against Resident Evil.
I enjoyed Warcraft. I actually enjoyed Warcraft. So I think I enjoyed it more than I did enjoy the first Resident Evil as well. So I'm going to give my vote to that.
Yeah,
it didn't do well in the cinema, I don't think. But I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I'd have to give mine to Warcraft as well here. It's actually a movie I'd probably watch again, given that if I had it here, or if I was able to stream it, or if it is able to stream anywhere. But I would definitely watch that. Resident Evil, I've seen it before. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really enjoyed Warcraft. One of the better ones. So Warcraft gets my vote too.
Which is a shame because Resident Evil
Warcraft
games are deadly.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot to work off there as well.
Yeah.
And as I said, I thought the second one was probably the best one. Is when she kind of started to develop her powers more, and it just seems it was more action. It was more interesting. I really enjoyed it. But Warcraft just beats the first one, definitely.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, that's the end of that round there, and we move into the next round, the quarterfinals in the tournament. And to kick it off, we have Super Mario Bros. Versus Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back.
I think it's the end of the line for Mario here for me anyway. I think Pokemon Mewtwo gets my vote here. Out of the two, definitely enjoyed that more than Mario. And the fact that Bob Hoskins plays Mario itself is terrible. Anyway, so definitely Pokemon for me here.
Yeah, I love both of these for different reasons. I actually loved Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back, and Super Mario Bros. I love because it's so shit that it's good to me. But that isn't what should get you to winning a tournament. Like, you can't be that shit and win a tournament. So yeah, Pokemon goes through here again for me. Rob's favourites. 3 times he's seen it now in this tournament, and he's going to see it a 4th as well.
It's going to win it.
It might win it.
Rob, I just have to ask, was that your vote as well? Or?
To be honest with you, I'd actually give it to Super Mario. I really enjoyed Super Mario. Like, I know it's shit, but as I said, it's so shit, it's great. Like, it was just ridiculous having Bob Hoskins there. He was the only little fat guy at the time that was going around acting as well. And they just put him in there.
Sure, they had Danny DeVito.
Now, if they'd put Danny DeVito in there,
the Dennis Hopper totally overacts and like is terrible as the dinosaur. I forget what his name is, but it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. Bowser.
Yeah, I don't know. If they'd put Danny DeVito in there, like that probably would change my vote.
If Danny DeVito is casting any roles in any of these movies, it'll probably end up winning the whole thing. Now, to be honest.
To be fair.
So.
But yeah, no, Super Mario Bros. I do like it, but I like it because it's so shit. And I don't think it should be winning the tournament. It's already knocked enough people out by being really shit. I don't think it deserves to knock anyone else.
I know, I agree with you, but I just had to give it a vote anyway.
Yeah. See, if I thought that if I didn't think somebody else was going to give it a vote, I probably would have given it that vote. But otherwise, I'd be actually putting it through again.
Next up, we have actually not 2 films that aren't bad at all. This will be a difficult one for you, lads. It's Tomb Raider 2018 against Rampage.
Ooh.
Well, look, I'd just like to say, Rampage
They're
is
both
great
not
crack.
bad films.
I really enjoyed it. The special effects in it look so bad at times, and this, the buildings are falling down and monsters are falling down, and like the Rock is just running along there and nothing's hitting them, and it's just like it's so badly done. It's good crack, but Tomb Raider is a far superior movie, I think. I can never remember. I can never pronounce that girl's name, but she's brilliant in it, and it was a great adaptation of the game that came out with the movie. It was really well done. So Tomb Raider gets my vote.
Yeah, I'd actually, for me, Rampage is a film I enjoyed just for what it was. Tomb Raider is good, but there's something just about Rampage. I could just go into the cinema, just click my head off and just watch it. Then it wasn't asking too much of me. It was just nonsense. And sometimes films like that are kind of you need them in a way. So I'd vote for Rampage here because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it way more than Tomb Raider.
Yeah, so it's left to me. I think.
Okay,
yeah,
Ted, you have the final decision.
Yeah, like I actually enjoyed both of these films. Rampage I enjoyed as I shut my brain off, just go in and watch action. Here's fighting. Here's big monsters fighting each other. Smash, and it's good. And I enjoyed that. Tomb Raider I really did enjoy, and I think they did stick very well to the new games that were released. It's nothing like the old games. It's very different. But I've really loved those new games as well. I've played through all of them, and I think I think they might actually be better than the original games as well.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm looking at it, which one of these could end up going into making a sequel and being as successful, I think Tomb Raider will have a better success going forward than Rampage will. Rampage, yeah, I think they are making a sequel, but I think if Rampage made a sequel, there's not a whole lot you could do because it's going to have to be the exact same story again. So for that, I'll put Tomb Raider through. But Rampage got a good run out of this, and it deserved to be fair. It deserves to have got this far.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider through to the semi-finals. And next up, we have Pokemon Detective Pikachu versus Hitman. They're not getting easy from here, lads.
Yeah.
From here on out, they're actually quite difficult.
I think I'd vote for Hitman here. Based on what I've said before, and the story is better. Pokemon now, of course, is one of the better movies. Obviously, with Ryan Reynolds, all the stuff that they do with all the Pokemon lore is exceptional. But in terms of a movie that I'd rewatch, I'd definitely rewatch Hitman before I'd rewatch Detective Pikachu. And that's even, well, I was about to say that's what kids and everything watching it. I don't think I'll put on Hitman with them around.
No. Come on, kids, come watch this.
Yeah. But no, I definitely would vote for Hitman here. Just slightly over Detective Pikachu.
Before any other votes are thrown in there, I just want to give my little case here. Detective Pikachu, I think, should definitely go through on this one. It's for years of being a Pokemon fan, been able to see all these, all the Pokemon kind of put into live action was just something that I've been waiting to see for years, and they all looked brilliant. Like the special effects of the film was done really, really well.
Yeah, I agree, especially Mewtwo at the end.
It was funny. There was a lot of humor.
A good Mewtwo, like it was pretty good. It was so funny, but I think Hitman is an adult movie, obviously, compared to the family thing that Pokemon is. And like Pokemon is really good, but I prefer Hitman, to be honest, up against these two. I really enjoyed Oliphant. I thought he really played it well. They did justice to the game, considering he's supposed to be a master of disguise and he's a 6'2" bald dude walking around that you can't miss.
Barcode tattoos in the back of his
barcode in the back of his head. But I really enjoy it. So my vote will go to Hitman. Sorry, Carl.
Wow. No. That's one I didn't expect. Now, I did not expect Hitman to take a Detective Pikachu.
That's his job.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Taking things out's his job, you know. My vote doesn't really matter here because Hitman's going through. But as much as I enjoyed Detective Pikachu, and it's obviously going to have a sequel, you can tell from how it ends and how successful it was.
Oh, yeah.
Detective Pikachu is based on Pokemon, but it's not based on any storyline from Pokemon. It's just its own thing that they've created, which is great, and they did really well with it. But I think Hitman kind of takes the storyline of the game, and that would have been my argument for Hitman if I had to make the choice here. But since it's already got 2 votes, I don't want to see Detective Pikachu go down in a clean sweep, so I'll give my vote there, just so it goes down fighting at least.
That's
Fair enough.
true to the semis. And joining it there, will we see Sonic the Hedgehog or Warcraft? There's a tough one for you.
I don't know which one to go for here.
Well, I want Sonic to go through.
It's not an easy one.
Good. I thought Warcraft was a really good movie, but I have only watched it once, where I've gone back and watched Sonic again because it's just so much fun. I just enjoyed it. And the whole thing about when they released the first trailer of it, and it was all the fans gave out about it, that they went back and changed how Sonic looked and everything else about it. That was just brilliant. That was great that happened. And so I think it deserves to go into the finals anyway. So my vote goes for Sonic.
Just on the back of you saying that, Rob, this is my thing with Sonic is that I don't believe that first Sonic they released, that first trailer with the really shit looking Sonic, that was never getting released. That's a marketing ploy. They 100% released a really shit trailer with a really shit looking Sonic, and then went, watch the outrage at this. And when the outrage happened, they were like, we'll get that outrage. There's the bad publicity. Everyone will say, change him. We'll change him. We'll get the good publicity, and everyone will go see the film because they'll feel, I need to go see that because I made the change, and that'll get people in the door, even if they're not big Sonic fans. There's no way that a film studio sat down with fans, and there had to have been at least, a couple of fans in there creating this film, because Sonic's such a huge game. There had to be some people there that would have sat down and gone, are you seriously thinking that that's what he should look like? That is the shittest thing I've ever seen. No way that got through. That was a marketing ploy. And it's one of the smartest marketing ploys I've ever seen, because it worked. It definitely worked, but there's no way that they actually thought they were releasing that thing as Sonic. No way. And they changed it way too quickly. They were way too quick to step down on changing that, and not like, when has Hollywood ever backed down to what other people thought? Never. They were way too quick backing down on that. They knew what they were doing. But even with that said, I do really like that Warcraft film, and I hope that they continue the story. I hope it isn't just one and done, because they've left themselves open for a lot of stories. Warcraft is obviously based on World of Warcraft, the game, which is still it's still going. It still is maybe not as big as it ever was, but it's still huge. And there's a lot of storylines in that still need to be explored and can still be done. But I think which one was more popular and which one will continue to be more popular is probably Sonic the Hedgehog. So I think it probably goes through here as well.
That's
right.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there now with the whole marketing ploy. But it did generate that much.
It did, yeah. It generated a buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you consider the amount of work it would have taken them to go back and reanimate Sonic.
Yeah. There's no way they did it.
No way. Like, and how much that would cost.
You'd have to reshoot the whole film. You have to reshoot the whole film. Yeah. No way.
Yeah. if they had it in the deciding vote here, I probably would have gone for Warcraft myself, based on facts.
Yeah,
And it's
I
very
feel bad
simple.
not voting for it. It is really good.
As in depth as you went there, Ted. My premise pretty much will be based which film has Jim Carrey in it, and the film that does, I don't vote for. So I would have voted for Warcraft here, but sure. Anyway, we'll see Sonic in the next round.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed Warcraft as well, and I feel bad that it has to go out.
Martin
but,
seems
yeah.
to want Warcraft to go through.
I'd have happily seen if
Perfect.
Warcraft had gone
Right.
through, I wouldn't have been upset. But I think Sonic probably is the more successful of the two.
Okay, so next we're into the semi-finals. It's the serious voting here now, and we started off with Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back versus Tour. Does Mewtwo Strikes Back continue on and continue to annoy Rob, or does Tomb Raider go
It's Rob's
through?
favorite film. He's seen it 5 times. Rob's seen it 5 times in the cinema. It's his favorite film. All right, I'm not. But from me, no, it's had its run. It's got as far as it's going to get. Tomb Raider is really good, and it's a better film overall. Mewtwo Strikes Back is still very good in terms of if you want to put it on for the kids. Well, maybe like kids. I don't know if kids are really into Pokemon anymore, but and especially since it's just the old Pokemon, they might not know who they are anymore. But yeah, I don't think it gets past Tomb Raider.
Yeah, Tomb Raider's story is way stronger here. Pokemon, it doesn't really have that much of a story when you go off the games and everything like that. They're pretty much just hunting monsters, capturing them, fighting them against each other. Tomb Raider has a lot to kind of live up to, especially when you consider the quality of the more recent games.
Yeah,
and it manages to achieve that, and it's a very adult movie. It's very grounded as well in the way it tells its story. It's not too flashy in your face. It takes its time to reveal everything to you, to give you each story beat. Whereas Mewtwo Strikes Back, it's pretty much a Pokemon movie, animated Pokemon movie. It does nothing incredibly exceptional. So I'd have to vote for Tomb Raider here.
Sorry, Rob.
Tomb Raider will 2 votes.
No, well, I'd have gone for Tomb Raider anyway. I was glad to see the back of Pokemon. Glad to see
Finally.
the back of that.
So you're not going to watch that tonight?
Definitely not.
Says as he
You know,
wipes a
as
tear
I said, I
from
went
his
to
eye.
see it 5 times. I think
I'm
I
glad to see it
slept through
gone.
2 of them anyway. I slept through 2 of them.
Next up, for the other semi-finals, we have Hitman versus Sonic the Hedgehog. I know which one I'd vote for. For me, if I was voting here, Sonic the Hedgehog would go through right away. It's a far superior Hitman. I didn't think Hitman was too much now, to be honest, and I'm very surprised it's even gotten to this stage. I thought this was going out in the first round, so I'm quite surprised the Hitman's gotten this far.
I'd go against you, Carl. I think here, I prefer Hitman way more than Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'd like to kind of see Lara having to debate over Lara Croft versus Agent 47 in the final round. So I'd vote for Hitman here. Better story, and it's definitely one that I'd rewatch. I enjoyed Timothy Olyphant's depiction of Agent 47 in it, and it's the best. Well, when we look at stories, probably Tomb Raider and Hitman are probably the 2 of the best stories really to be told within these video game movie adaptations. So Hitman for me.
I'd be with you, Carl. I think Sonic's very fun. The actual game itself doesn't have a real great storyline to take from. Like, the storyline of the game is collect the rings, get to the end of the race, fight Robotnik. That's pretty much the storyline. You just keep fighting them over and over again, which is essentially the only story you have. So they've had to invent a bit of a story background here where the rings allow you to teleport around the place and whatnot. But I think Sonic is a very fun film. Hitman is good, but I would agree with you. I don't think it's as good, and I was surprised that I think the opponents it came up against helped it to push through a bit here. But I think this is as far as it's going to get. I think Sonic will go through to the next round here for this, from me anyway.
Ooh.
Okay. One vote each. Right-siding vote. Who goes to the finals?
Well, I don't know. You know, I really enjoyed Sonic. But they're two totally different movies. You know, like one's an adult film and one's a kids movie.
Yep.
You know, and like as you said, you know, like Hitman
The last
sticks to
film
the
I
game.
saw before lockdown.
What? Last film you
I
saw
think
before
I think
lockdown.
the Sonic film might have been the last film I saw before lockdown.
Yeah. You know what? At the beginning of this whole thing, I thought Sonic was going to get through to definitely be there at the final. But when I put it up against Hitman, I think Hitman's the better movie. So I'm going to give my vote to Hitman. Sorry, Carl.
Hitman through to the finals. That's not what I expected now at all, to be honest.
Oh.
So we have our finals here. We have our finals. It's Tomb Raider versus Hitman. Alicia Vikander versus Timothy Olyphant. Who wins?
This one's easy enough for me. I think Tomb Raider is definitely the better film. Obviously, we have the hindsight to look back and go that the continuation on Hitman didn't go particularly well, so that can be used to hurt it. We don't have that luxury here with Tomb Raider, because obviously the second one hasn't come out, but I think the second one, when it does come out, will be as good, if not better, than the first. And I hope that there's another one again after that, because there is quite a few games that came out of the new Tomb Raider series. So for me, Tomb Raider should be the one winning this. They're both kind of more adult centered in terms of they're a bit more violent. They're not really something for young kids. And Tomb Raider's kind of got she's obviously rich, so she's got that glitz and glamour side, but then the film itself is also kind of grimy and kind of dark and dirty in the sense of like what she has to go through to accomplish what she's trying to do. So for me, I think that's the better film. As I said, I didn't think Hitman would make it this far, but Tomb Raider is definitely the better of the two from me.
Yeah, and even saying with that, like in Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, her journey is better as a character than Timothy Olyphant's character in Agent 47 and Hitman, because of what she has to go through. So we see more of her kind of character progression in Tomb Raider than we would actually see within Hitman. So based on that, I'd have to go for Tomb Raider. It's not to take a slight, like I'm surprised Hitman made it this far, considering all the films it went against, especially the last round. I was surprised, even though I did vote for it, but I was surprised it went through. But Tomb Raider is a better film. And also, if we look at the games as well, you know, the Hitman movie is based on a game that doesn't have that much of a story. It's not a very detailed story. It's fairly simplistic. The Tomb Raider games have gotten way more progressive in the way they actually tell their stories. It's a much more modern story, really. It's not as video game-ish. The Hitman's very video game-ish kind of concept, like you are a hitman, you go in, you kill people, you complete objectives, that's it. And there's a little couple of bits of story thrown in here and there. Tomb Raider is very heavily story focused. So, and the film manages to do that really well. So I'd vote for Tomb Raider.
Yeah, well, Hitman, as I said, I really enjoyed it. I didn't want to see. I thought it was a better movie than Sonic. You know, as much as I enjoyed Sonic, so it was sad to see that go. But I think it needed to. I don't think it was good enough to beat Hitman. But Tomb Raider certainly is. It, as Matthew said, it's a great story. The special effects are done so well. It just takes off the game so well. I thought she was brilliant at playing the role. So, and as
Better
Ted
than
said,
Angelina as well.
I look forward to seeing the second one. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's better than Angelina. You know,
Better than
she
Angelina
made
in
it
the role.
made it that bit grittier, and you know, it was kind of like her starting off at a career. So like, it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So Tomb Raider wins for me.
Perfect. So we have gotten there. We have decided the greatest video game movie of all time is 2018's Tomb Raider. Alicia Vikander is holding it up and is happy to have won that. So next week, this show where I'm actually going to be taking a little bit of a hiatus next week, and we'll be returning in 2 weeks with sports movies. We'll find out then what is the greatest sports movie of all time, and that'll be happening starting on the 6th of March.
What?
Rocky could be up there.
Space Jam.
Space Jam is the greatest sports movie of all time. Space Jam is the greatest film of all time. Forget about sports film; it's the greatest film of all time. End of. So there's the answer. Spoiler: nobody needs to watch next week's show. So unless you don't include Space Jam, there's the answer. That's what's won. Space Jam, done and dusted.
So sports movies, if you want to see Space Jam possibly getting straight away into the winning circle, you can join me here on the Sherlock Reel on the 6th of March. Other than that, if there are any new movies coming out within the next 2 weeks, I try and get a review there on the channel. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, I'd just like to plug whatever you like there. Go ahead, Rob. We'll go around in a circle there.
I'm grand. You guys go ahead. I hardly know how to use a computer, lads. You go for it. It's okay.
Yeah, as I said at the start, it's I host a show that looks back at old films and games and things like that. Similar to this, but not in a knockout style. We actually just look at the specific film or game that's chosen at the time. It's called Retrotainment. It's part of the Dynamo Podcast Network, which you can find on YouTube at just Dynamo Podcast Network, and you can find Retrotainment on Facebook just at Retrotainment, and on Twitter at Retrotainment1.
And I'm Matthew, pretty much from at True Metal Pod. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or on YouTube as well. Our first season of Monsters Rock the Lordy Story went out there in August of last year, and we are currently editing the second season, which is meant to come out in spring of this year. So it's basically a podcast about the band Lordy, who won the Eurovision back in 2006. I guess that's probably where most people would have heard of them. But it's basically a very detailed history of the band, including over 50 hours worth of interviews with past and current band members, and going into great detail about how their career has progressed over nearly 30 years in the industry. So people can check it out there and stay tuned. We also have like exclusive pictures from the band about the costumes and lots of other things that goes in great. It goes in really detailed, pretty much accounts of their history. So you can find me over at True Metal Pod on any social accounts, pretty much.
Those are costumes.
Yeah, really? Yes, they are.
Like that.
Perfect. As I said, tune in there now on the 6th of March. That's when the next one of these kind of King of the Ring breakers will come down, and hopefully we'll see you all soon. Thank you.
Look.
Thanks.
Bye.